What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another RaidShadowLegends video and coming at you from the new space. So yeah, we get a green screen, got a new location. Hopefully everything sounds good. This is the first piece of content I'm making that is not a live stream from the new space. So hopefully it goes well. But today we got to talk about something that is not going well, and that is Centranos. I can't lie. This content has been extremely frustrating since the moment it came out. And I want to talk about why I think this is not good content, how to improve it, and why it has been, for me at least, one of the most frustrating pieces of content that Raid has ever released. But before we get into the bad, let's talk about the good, because even bad content has some things that are good. And there are some things that are good about Centranos. Well, first and foremost, it's new content. New content is typically a good thing, right? Like, we're getting to do something new. We're trying something out. So that's not bad at all, that we do have something new to explore. One of the other things that I like, the fact that we're getting different rewards. We're getting, potentially energy. We're getting free stuff for completing stages. That is a win. That is good. Another thing, the fact that it's a key system. So similar to Doom Tower, Centranos doesn't require energy to do a stage. That is awesome. I'm so happy that they did that. Smartest thing they could have done for the content that they have called the largest thing they have done since Doom Tower. So that is also a win. And then also, I would say, do I wish that the bosses were new? Do I wish that there were different things going on here? Sure. But I also still at the same time like having double bosses, that kind of stuff as well. For the most part, I think that's overall not bad. But, and there's a major but here, because realistically, you don't make a video like this unless you have a lot to talk about. And that is that I find this content to be absurdly, absolutely, incredibly, for no good reason, difficult. And I am not alone in thinking that. As we all know, I have an ultra endgame Kraken pay to win account. And even with an account like that, there are stages in Soul Cross that I think are just asininely difficult. And what I mean by that is this: there are a couple different ways you can have difficulty in the game, right? The first way, and I think the best way, is by mechanics of boss fights. You think about some of the best content that Raid has put out. There are different bosses that have different mechanics that, respond to certain things. You have to figure them out. You have to use strategy. And you have to employ your champion collection to figure out what is best for those fights. That is good difficulty. That is difficulty that rewards you for thinking strategically, and it rewards you for, using different champions or having different ideas as to how to beat content. Then we have what the difficulty is here in Soul Cross. And this is what I would call RNG frustrating bullshit difficulty. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look. This stage isn't a good example, but oh, here we go. This stage is a great example. I've got a +4 Uko. I've got 2 Sineshas. All of these champions are awakened. A Mother Cybele, a Versolf, +3. And this stage took me close to 3 hours to do earlier today. That's ridiculous. Like, that's just straight up ridiculous. And the reason why it took me so long is, well, we can take a look right here. This is just a massive RNG fest. We've got only force champions to pick, and we've got 3 champions on the opposing team that are the wrong affinity, which means we're going to constantly be weak hitting. And oh, by the way, 2 of these champions are more to Macabre. Remember Nightmare Campaign level 7, is it? I think the ending of the campaign, and how absurdly difficult that was. Well, multiply that by 2, make those champions significantly stronger, and also limit your champion pool, and you've got the recipe for a really fun time, right? No, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is not good game design. This is not exciting. This is frustrating to play. Spending 3 hours trying to get the perfect RNG when 3 of my champions are in stun sets, hoping that I don't proc peril, hoping that I'm able to get past this first stage, is not exciting. It's not fun. It's difficulty for the sake of difficulty. And it's a major, major problem with Centranos. One of the multiple major problems with Centranos in its current state. Look, I'm all for having challenges. I'm all for having to figure stuff out. but I don't want my challenge to be based on RNG. I don't want to be based on, does my champion proc a stun 20 different times in order to win something? Does, you know, the enemy not proc their peril multiple times? Or if they do proc their peril, can I somehow survive it? Am I able to get through the Duchess? And again, also weak hit affinity on top of this. I don't know what the thought process was with creating this content, but making something ultra hard because of the RNG factor, because of limiting the champion pool to where you only have a couple different choices. Like if we take a look here, you've got what, like maybe 15 choices at most. Like that's not exciting. You're artificially making this more difficult, as opposed to having interesting mechanics or even having strong champions to beat. You are purposely making it so that I am unlikely to beat the game or unlikely to beat the level, because you're putting asinine restrictions on me. And again, I have an account with almost every champion. I beat this level, but it took me over 3 hours of running the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's not fun, guys. That's not exciting. That's not good content. This entire section of the game needs a major rework, because that's not the only level like this. I haven't even tried this level yet, and this is better than the first go around, but obviously the Marichka Taurus level, which everybody remembers, is also absurdly difficult. Everyone's super fast, everything else. And the problem is that once again, you're limited into what champions you can bring into the fight. I can understand having some limits, I guess, maybe. I don't personally like that. I think if you have a large champion collection, you should be able to use it. You should have the ability to not be screwed over if you're a free-to-play player or even a mid-game or lower tier spender, and you don't have every champion under the sun like I do. So I actually, yeah, you know what? I don't like that. In fact, I hate it. I think it's stupid. I think it's a really bad way to increase difficulty. If you want to make something more difficult, make it so that there are different mechanics that are more challenging, instead of just basically slapping asinine restrictions that limit you to the worst champions in the game. And oh, by the way, you have to gear all of them in your most end game insane gear. And wait, this game charges you to take gear off. So that's another problem I have with Centranos, and it's been talked about by other creators, but I want to bring it up now because I think it's important to note. We're at the point in 2024 where there needs to be no more gear cost removal. I did a stream the other night. I was working with a Watcher of Realms creator who actually used to play Raid, and he laughed. He laughed when he heard that they still had gear removal costs in Raid, and I didn't even know what to say, because I was kind of like, yeah, it's pretty stupid. Like, it doesn't make sense. One weekend at the start of a rotation, when you're not even in Soul Cross to get free gear removal, does not make this acceptable. Like, we need to change this so that you don't charge silver for taking off gear. Let us actually play the game. Let us enjoy the game. You already make plenty of money off of shards, Plarium, and also soul stones. Oh, and actually, on that note, I want to point this out because I thought this was pretty slimy. Where is this? So they've just changed the soulstone rate. Oh, well, it changed. The pack is gone, but they just changed the soulstone rate, right? To give us 8 times, which is still really bad, but at least it's an improvement over what we had on the wish list. But then the pack that they released had less than what they were selling it for before. I mean, could you be any more greedy? Do you think people are gonna like see that? They literally were giving, I think, 3 eternal soulstones instead of 4 eternal soulstones. So they improved the system a little bit, and then they literally went into their packs and they took out a soulstone just to screw over the community. I mean, I don't even have words at this point. Like, I can't fathom why business decisions like this are made when they are going to be recognized. You're already making plenty of money, and it's never enough. It's never enough. It always has to be more. It has to push more, take more. It's just really disgusting. So wanted to point that out because I think it relates to this. You shouldn't be charged to take gear off champion anymore. Yeah, you shouldn't. That you should be able to move your gear around, build your champions however you want, especially if you're going to put content like, you know, Cursed City in the game. Now, me personally, I hate the idea of having to strip all of my perfectly geared arena champions just to beat this content. So I refuse. I will not strip champions to do this content if I can't do it with the gear that I have left over, then I can't do it. It is what it is, because I'm not going to spend silver on it. I feel like they designed this to specifically be a silver drain, to screw over the player base, and it really is upsetting to see them not change this to make it more accessible to every player, not just ultra endgame krakens like myself, but also to the regular player. And again, this difficulty of this is just all over the map. How many people have actually beaten this in my clan? I'm in what, one of the top clans? We've got a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 people that have completed every stage. I mean, what are we doing? You know, I thought the RNG in Hydra was bad when it came out. This is on a completely different level. And before you ask, like, well, what kind of gear do you have on your champions? Let me show you what I'm running on some of them. So, for example, the Uko stage. Where's my Uko? He's running pretty damn good stun gear. You know what I mean? This isn't like low end gear. Obviously, he's my arena build, but even the other champions in this, I don't have bad gear on them. I have really damn good gear for the average player, and it's still not enough because of the amount of RNG that is being put into these stages. So this has to change. As it is right now, I don't look forward to doing this. I'm not excited about this content. I'm not like jazzed to get all this stuff done. I am immensely frustrated by it. I'm frustrated by the fact that it costs millions of silver to even attempt. I'm frustrated by the fact that certain stages, here's another great example. I haven't done this one yet. I'm sure I can do it no problem if I actually gear these champions, but once again, we're limited to only epic champions, and most of them are shit. So it's just like, if you're gonna make something difficult, make it difficult because of the actual mechanics of the fight. Don't make it difficult by restricting what I can use or not use in the game. And again, for most players, this is just not even doable at all. And it won't be doable in a year, and it won't be doable in 2 years. It just will never be doable. I don't think that's good for the game. I don't think it's good to have content that 99.9% of your player base can't do on some level. And especially when that content relates to getting rewards or a champion or anything else, I just don't think that that is good game design. And I am very, very frustrated by Centranos. I think it is boring. I think it is RNG, way too RNG heavy. And the thing that also blows my mind is they sent a survey out to, I guess, top players. They sent a survey out maybe a week or two ago, and I couldn't believe it because the survey was asking, like, do you think the content should be harder? What the hell, dude? Harder? Bro, you've got maybe 30, 40, 50 people in the entire freaking community that can beat this stuff at this point. Why would you make it harder? Why would you even ask that? Just shows that you're out of touch, you know? I think this can be improved. I think if they actually were to remove silver costs, this would get a lot better already. I think if they balance some of these stages where you have a larger champion pool to collect from, or alternatively, if they did something better, like not try to screw people over by putting 2 champions with peril and the wrong affinities, would be really nice. But as it stands right now, I think this is one of the more disappointing things of content that I have personally experienced playing Raid. And it's not a good thing when the more exciting or the most exciting thing I've done in Raid in the last several months, half a year, has been basically the free-to-play series that I'm doing right now. That's not good. That means we're not doing something right. I think that's something that needs to be visited. I know this is a negative video. I know, you know, like most of it's a rant, but I do want it to be out there because I want this to change. I want to get it to get better, not only for me, but also for the community. This content is just too hard. It's too hard, Plarium. Go back to the drawing board, rework the levels, make it more accessible, and let's try again. Because I think there is potential for this to be decent, for it to be good. But as it stands right now, and in my opinion, it is quite bad. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'm curious to hear what you think. I really don't know anyone I've talked to that thinks that this is great content, but maybe there are other people out there that are like, you know what, Drock, Centranos is the best thing ever. I love it. I live, sleep, eat, die Centranos. Thank God they put Centranos in the game. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys. And I know I was a little quiet, but I'm recording this at like 3 a.m. and I don't want to be too loud. So there you go. I'll catch y'all later. Big Papa Drock out.